time to honor one of the biggest and one of our favorite developers. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Ubisoft games.
Akose! Shoot! Shoot the flying demon!
For this list, we're restricting the titles to one game per franchise. The Tom Clancy name is exempt from this rule, but the various franchises that spawned under said name are not. Also, the game has to be developed and published by a Ubisoft studio. Number 10, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game. Kicking off our list is one of the few examples of a movie tie-in game done right, with nicely polished 2D animation that drew plenty of fan service from the Scott Pilgrim novels and classic video games alike. Top it all off with the epic chiptune soundtrack from Anna Managuchi, and you have a memorable 2D beat-em-up side-scroller that retro gamers will fall in lesbians with. Number 9, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. There were a lot of tough choices for this list, the first of which being between this game and Future Soldier, although ultimately Advanced Warfighter won out. While the graphics may look dated by today's standards, it's still a ton of fun to play as it gave players a groundbreaking array of advanced weaponry to play with, spicing up a genre that's long past stale.
Destroyer!
Weapons free, lock.
I'm done playing with you, Mitchell. This time is for keeps.
Number 8, Rainbow Six Vegas. This choice, however, was kind of a no-brainer. Set in the bright lights of Las Vegas, this cover-based first-person, third-person hybrid shooter made methodical squad combat surprisingly intense. Taking place in recreations of real-life Las Vegas casinos, there's nothing more thrilling than having a rogue grenade blow up a slot machine and hearing all that loose change spill everywhere.
Sir, we studied the casino's blueprints. The tangles have the entry points covered.
So we'll go through the wall. The buggles won't expect that.
Number 7, Driver San Francisco. Driver is probably one of the more unique games on this list. The core gameplay mechanic revolves around projecting your mind into another driver on the road and plowing them into oncoming traffic because you're controlling them. Can you imagine trying to explain that to your insurance company? Thankfully, it's not all real. The guy was in a coma the whole time. But hey, still fun, right?
What the hell is happening?
You're an overworked ambulance driver, and it's called stress. Any more dumb questions?
Yeah. How the hell did I get here?
Just do what you've done for the past 8 years, and we can discuss the birds and the bees later.
Number 6, Beyond Good and Evil. A game that became a cult classic, this lively tale has you in the role of Jade, who's often regarded as one of the best female protagonists in gaming, and who's also helped along the way by her adopted uncle, who's an anthropomorphic pig. The gameplay itself blends 3D stealth platforming along with a combat system that Ubisoft would later adopt in their Assassin's Creed series. If you haven't played this game before, it recently got an HD release on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network, so you can check it out.
My little marvels, the jet boots. They run on homemade biocarburant. Here's the pocket of pressurized methane. And here, in the soles, are the 2 turbo reactors.
Number 5, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Another Tom Clancy title, another difficult choice, as each of the Splinter Cell's games are really well made. In the end though, we gave the nod to Chaos Theory, as it introduced the now signature cooperative multiplayer. A stealth game with a heavy emphasis on lighting, or lack thereof, it allowed for some rather intense moments as you skulked through the shadows waiting for the right moment to drive your knife into a wandering guard.
Can you think of a reason why the world wouldn't be a better place without you?
Please, I
didn't think so.
Number 4, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. A reboot to a classic game that surpassed the quality of the original, Sands of Time featured an extremely nimble, free-running acrobatic system, making for a fantastic 3D platformer. Making it even better was the ability to reverse time in the event that you don't get a jump quite right. Topping it off was fantastic art direction, making this Arabian adventure not soon forgotten.
Whence came these visions that assaulted me thus like fever dreams? Each time I awoke feeling drained and beaten.
Number 3, Rayman Legends. While the original 3D Rayman games were memorable, the 2D platform Origin series was the Limbless Heroes' finest work. We're giving the nod to Legends, since it also contained the levels from Origins, and for being a straight up amazing platformer, one that gave Mario a run for his coins. For even more enjoyment, there was cooperative play with the Wii U gamepad, for an experience unlike anything else. Number 2, Far Cry 3. No contest for this one. The third entry is by far the best in the series, for successfully combining an ambitious scale with a memorable setting and interesting characters.
You boys think you're crazy, huh? Jumping out of airplanes, flying.
This open-world FPS, set on a tropical island, is just brimming with things to do. Hunting wildlife, flying around on a hang glider, ramboing through legions of pirates, or even torching enormous crops of marijuana. You'll never run out of things to do. We also need to give an honorable mention to the neon-soaked DLC expansion, Blood Dragon.
D20s, or Nerd Rocks, are good for distracting cyberhuman enemies.
Speaking of honorable mentions, let's take a look at a few before we get to number 1. Number 1, Assassin's Creed 2. We're pretty sure most of you saw this series coming. The only real question was which game. We juggled back and forth between this one and Black Flag, but ultimately we went with number 2 for the fact that it established Assassin's Creed as Ubisoft's signature franchise. With a fantastic open world based around the classic Italian Renaissance cities like Florence, Rome, and Venice, this is the game that gave birth to the annual tradition.
I assume you're familiar with Leonardo da Vinci.
See, but how does a painter factor into this?
He's far more than that. Bring him the pieces. You'll see.
Do you agree with our list? Which Ubisoft game is your favorite? For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Some of you guys are real helpful. Why do you have to work for the bad guys?
You're the American oppressor. You're the bad guy.
Are you gonna say monkey?
What? No!
Then this conversation is over.